Hi everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 36 of our Hashtag United series in Football Manager 2019. And a massive episode, not just because it's the start of Season 6, our second season in the Vanarama League South after 4 back-to-back league championships and promotions. It's really a turning point for the series. When you think back to Season 1 and the squad that we had at the start of that year, we had some phenomenal talented players, but they were all much older. The likes of Jack Harrison, Tom Williams, Jamie Jackson, like guys into their 30s that were a much older group. At the end of the last episode, I asked everybody to go onto our Twitter or comment in the comment section below as to what they wanted to see for the future, because I had been trying consistently to try and keep the main group of hashtag originals together so that they could rise up the divisions with us. And when I had to sign players, I tried to sign real life replacement players, so juniors that had either come through at bigger clubs, been released from their contracts, but were real actual people, to try and give that add layer of realism to the story, to not get too bogged down in a long-term save with just regen players, because there's always a time when you kind of have to make that transition, but you want to delay it as much as possible. So I asked all of you guys to have a look and say, do we want to continue that policy of signing real players to the squad and trying to get in first team ready professionals to try and get us to continue up the leagues, knowing that we might have to pay a little bit more, knowing that some of those original players weren't really up to the Vanarama South standard? Or should I embrace the new gens? So they're inevitable anyway. That's really where the season and direction of the series is going to go eventually regardless. Should we bite the bullet and just try and make that transition now? And thank you to everybody that voted. But as you can see up here, it was useless because we had 8 votes. I do appreciate the 8 people that voted. It was split 50-50, 4 apiece. 4 people wanting to sign real players, 4 people wanting to embrace the new gens. I didn't vote in this poll, which meant that once it closed, I really had to be the deciding vote for that. And I think the big one, and you've got eagle-eyed people will have already figured out what's happening, but really when you look at our finances here, we're currently at £421,000 in debt. We don't own our stadium, we don't pay anybody full-time wages, and we're already heading, after 5 years, kind of down that rabbit hole. And if you think of recent football, like Bolton and Bury and all the other stuff that we've seen going with other clubs over the past few years with difficulties around finance and ownership and whatever else, we can't really continue that trend. So we need to get ourselves to a position where we are a profitable football club, not just a winning football club, but a profitable football club as well. So for that reason, I have cast my deciding vote to start embracing the regen players that are coming through the game. We do have an expanded wage budget. At the end of last season, I got a last minute contract. I took minimum wage. I'm on £100 a week to try and help the financial situation there. We're currently under the wage budget that has been promised to us, and we actually have further cuts that we're going to try and make to give that gap even more, so the club's not spending as much money as it needs to. But the big one that we need to try and push for is that we had £4,870 income, $13,000 expenditure. We have improved that quite a bit. When you think about it, we got promoted back to back 4 times in a row. We had multiple sponsorships, whether it was like front of shirt or kit supplier or the rental agreement for first Coles Park Stadium and now the Hive, that were priced on us playing at that certain division level that we had already moved beyond. So I think our most recent shirt sponsorship was a 3-year deal. We were earning about $3,000 a year, and the one we just signed in the most recent off-season was for $25,000. So kind of victims of our own success in that our income hasn't increased at the same rate that we have performed within the league and moved up the divisional structure, and then also had to pay players, and our expenditure got a lot higher. So that's the big key reason why I've kind of tried to make this transition towards regen players. But having said that, we've still kept the majority of the group together. We've got a couple of players down here in Under-18s that we're going to try and get rid of, the likes of Armando Shashua, Tom Humphrey, Taylor Anakin, Finley Shrimpton, Ryan George, all fantastic servants, guys that we brought to the club that weren't part of the hashtag originals. We're going to try and get rid of them, further get rid of some of that wage that we don't really need anymore. They've been great servants and I'll miss them a lot. They've been tremendous, but it's just time for us to start saying goodbye. And the same for a lot of these hashtag originals guys as well. You can see there's a whole bunch here that are only 1 star, some are even half star current ability. Really the only guys that could potentially make an impact at this division are Charlie Morley and Marcus Stamp, and even then they're only 3-star players. We are going to continue to try and keep them here as long as we can, but realistically, if it becomes a decision between the future of the club and the financial stability of it, we're going to have to let some of these guys go with a view that we'll bring them back later on in their careers for cheap money once our finances are in a good state, and we'll continue trying to bring older players as they retire in on staff contracts, the way that we have done pretty much all through the series today. But, and this is probably the most exciting point, this brings us through to the new squad. All regen players, all sitting around 18, 19 years of age, all fantastic potential ability. That's been the real thing that I've tried to do. I'm You may remember back, like right when we first started this episode, we did that proximity chart of clubs based near #United in the north of London, like Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham, Watford, Millwall, Brentford, QPR. Like there's a whole bunch of different London clubs that every year are releasing young talent, and that's basically what I focused on in our recruitment this season, looking at what youth contract players were being released from those clubs around us and trying to bring in their best and most talented juniors so that we could have a look at them. If they had that high level of quality, if they had that high level of potential that we could eventually maybe get something out of, looking to bring them in according to our shape, according to our structure, and according to, more than anything, our budget. So you can already see a lot of guys here that are on £50 a week, £100 a week, whatever else, which is great. It's good to get that reduction in there. A few that are on long-term deals as well. A whole bunch of high ability players, a whole bunch of really high potential players, which is massive. And we're going to go through some of them now. We'll do it alphabetically because that's how it seems to filter through when you click through the players. The first one up is Luke Austin, a wing-back. Oh, I forgot to mention, we have changed our shape and structure quite a bit. We've used that 4-2-3-1 for a few seasons. For those of you that have been long-term fans of the channel, you remember the first series we did with Bournemouth, we used a flat 4-4-2 in our Football's Coming Home challenge. It worked really well, and I'm looking to bring something similar back into this series. It is the #442. It kind of is a hashtag if you look at it that way. If the FA would respond to my emails about playing two goalkeepers, it would be pretty much an essential 4-4-2 shape in that hashtag shape. But until they get back to me, this is the closest we're going to be able to get. What I really like about it is the distance between the lines. When you've got kind of like an anchor midfielder or a number 10 or whatever else, they look for too much space and distance between like your midfield and your defence and between your midfield and your forwards. When it's two flat lines, they seem to stay really tight with each other. And I think that's going to help a young group together quite a bit because you've got different partnerships across the pitch, like wingers and fullbacks, central midfielders, central defenders, forwards working together, but also like those whole lines, those lines of four are going to be really tight. And I think that will continue to help us throughout the course of this season as these young players continue to develop and grow. So big fan of it already. We've also got the cautious and attacking mentality set up so that if we need to, we can make those transitions. And in addition, I've actually gone through and done a whole bunch of set piece routines for both corners, throw-ins, attacking, defending, whatever else, to try and make the most of that shape and that formation. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of an increase in goals from set pieces, but really it's just to help out the young players in their defensive roles. But what I might do is I probably won't go through every individual player because that's a little bit boring. Most of them have been released from clubs around the place locally. If you look on the screen now, there is a depth chart where I've listed pretty much our starting 11 highlighted in yellow. The guys in white are the guys that are there as squad players for the time being, but please keep in mind those will move around. Form will change, people will get suspended, people will get injured, whatever else. People will get opportunities in the first team, and if they make the most of them and continue to perform and the team does well, there's no reason that those positions are set. There's a couple of key players that I think we're going to look at here. First and foremost, Valeriano Rodriguez. He's an ex-QPR left winger. I'm absolutely thrilled to have him. Like some of these stats here, like for an 18-year-old player, his technical attributes of 10 corners, 12 crossing, 10 dribbling, 8 first touch, 8 passing, 14 technique for the key roles of an attacking winger. That is fantastic. Great determination, good flair. Off the ball needs a little bit of work, as does his positioning, but that'll come with time. His physical attributes are phenomenal. 14 acceleration, 10 agility, 13 balance, 15 natural fitness, 13 pace, 11 stamina. If we get even half the development out of him that you'd expect to see in his 18th year, we're going to have a phenomenal player on our hands and we'll be struggling to keep hold of him. He's on £300 a week, but he's also on a 3-year deal. So we have that security of if anyone wants to come in and try and poach him, he's here for a little while, so they're going to have to pay us money to actually get him back. Next one from the high potential bunch, Josh Overton, who'll start as one of our ball-playing defenders. One of the things that I didn't really mention is we've made a transition to ball-playing defenders and wing-backs. We've also kind of moved that advanced playmaker role, the previous 10, to be a deep-lying forward, and we've gotten rid of the poacher role that's now an advanced forward to try and work a little bit closer with the deep-lying forward and complement each other a bit more. Josh Overton here, ex-Bournemouth junior. Not the best in terms of technical attributes. We will need to improve things like his passing, tackling, heading, whatever else, but 18 bravery, 12 aggression, 10 concentration, 13 determination, 12 positioning for an 18-year-old player fresh out of the youth academy structure. That is fantastic. Good acceleration, good natural fitness. He's going to be fantastic for us throughout the year. Also only 18 years old, only on £100 a week. Higher potential than any defender I think we've ever had thus far. Luke Austin's the next one to look at. We did briefly have a look at him earlier. Another ex-Bournemouth junior. He's already comfortable as a wing back, which is fantastic to see at this lower level. Great natural fitness, 17 teamwork, 16 work rate, absolutely fantastic. He's got some technical stuff he needs to work on in terms of his crossing and dribbling. Marking, passing, tackling also need work, but at 18 years of age, he's definitely going to be given a platform to continue to develop and to continue trying to succeed. Look at some of our highest ability players now. Sean O'Neill will be the winger on the other side, the right-hand side. Again, in this shape, in this formation, the wide players are so critical to what we do in terms of our creativity. He's got okay crossing, decent dribbling, good first touch. Passing needs a bit of work, as does his technique. His mentals need the most improvement, but 16 acceleration, 14 balance, 13 pace, 12 stamina, 13 agility. Like, he's got the raw physical tools to absolutely tear people apart on the counter-attacking, quick transitions, and that's what we're going to be looking to continue for him to do. Ex-Watford Junior, never made an appearance for them, looking at his first real opportunity to play senior football. The next man, remember the name, Keith Meir. He will start as our advanced forward, but look at some of this stat line here. 14 finishing, 11 first touch, 12 free kick taking, anticipations 10, composure's 7, determinations only 5, which we'll go into determination why I think it's so important in a moment, but 12 flair, 10 leadership, 13 off the ball, really good mental attributes for someone so young. His acceleration is 15, his natural fitness is 14, his stamina is 13. He will tear teams apart at this level. We've got him on a 2-year deal, £300 a week, so he is going quite a bit. Ex-West Brom Junior, I think he's going to be fantastic for us this season. He's got pretty much every trait that I wanted from an advanced forward, and we'll see if he can convert that into goals. Oliver Hyam we'll look at next. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but I'm going to go with Hyam throughout the course of the season. He's going to start as our box-to-box midfielder, left-footed player, ex-Bournemouth Junior, like a few that we've picked up. Great first touch, good marking, good passing, good tackling, a good all-round midfield player, and really that's what we need. We need players that can do a bit of everything, particularly when you're playing that flat 4-4-2 structure. He can also playing as a deep lying playmaker on defence, so if it's not working out for him in the box-to-box role, we might look to transition him across. We'll have a look at his partner in the midfield in a minute and look at some of his stats and see what might be the best. But 17 work rate, 16 balance, 15 stamina, 13 natural fitness, everything we could possibly want. Still only 18 years of age, £300 a week. He is earning quite a bit, but he is an absolute star. The man I just briefly mentioned is midfield partner George. I think it's pronounced Ura, but I'm going to call him Yuri. Currently set to be our deep laying playmaker on defend. Tackling needs a little bit of work, but his first touch of 14 is excellent. 14 vision, 11 natural fitness, 12 stamina, really good traits, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential, ex-Arsenal junior. If we went back to the start of this series, none of the Arsenal juniors would even talk to me at their end of their contracts. The fact that we've signed one straight from the club is absolutely tremendous. Only on £200 a week, he'll continue to get his opportunity to develop and grow. As will our other central forward, Vasco Ferreira. Portuguese youth international, has played for both the under-20 and under-19 teams in pre-season. Technical attributes need a little bit of work. There's a lot of 9s and 8s here though that hopefully will transition. Mental attributes are good. 10 aggression, 10 determination, 9 decision making, 11 teamwork, 11 leadership, 8 work rate. So really on the precipice of hitting double figures for quite a few of them. His physicals are tremendous. His acceleration, agility, balance, natural fitness, pace and stamina are all in green, which is what we want to see. Left-footed player will play as that deep line playmaker on support. If we continue to build up some of his like 9s and 8s, like vision and work rate and all that sort of stuff, he's going to be tremendous for us, and we really want him laying stuff on a plate for good finishers like Keith Meir. And as I mentioned earlier, determination at 10. What I'm really intrigued to see is some of these players that currently have, like high potential but okay current ability. If they've got a higher determination rating, I think that means they're going to capitalise better on their current potential with part-time football. If we had like world-class facilities and full-time contracts, then a lot of these players would hit their potential ability, but we don't. We really just have the ones that we're going to expose to first-team football for the first time and hope they continue to grow and continue to develop and whatever else in their hashtag careers. But I'm really happy with the squad so far. We'll bring that depth chart up again and have a quick look. There's 2 little holes there. One, that kind of deep line playmaker role where George Uri currently sits. We're still on the lookout for a player for that, and we're also looking for another ball playing defender at the back. There are a few that we're keeping an eye on the short list, but I'll introduce you to them if and when we sign them. But I'm really happy with the squad. I'm really happy with the depth that we have available. I'm most happy that everyone here is 18 and on relatively low wages, and it is a massive crossroads for the series. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. I'll either be proved correct and we did the right thing by moving to more regen, new gen players and becoming kind of like a development squad, or it's going to be a disaster and we're probably going to get relegated, and everyone can tell me I told you so in the comments. But we do have season football to get underway. There's been a lot of talking. Let's jump into our first fixture against Chesham now. Alright, so first lineup of season 6, that flat 4-4-2 we spoke about. Gibbons in goal, Parkhill and Austin as the wing backs, Overton and Turnbull as our 2 ball playing defenders. Hyam and Yuri will anchor midfield, giving Rodriguez and O'Neill an opportunity to push a little bit further forward on the wings. Ferreira will play as the 10, and Keith Mears will lead the line up top. Chesham kind of playing a 4-5-1 formation. They are a massive pain in the ass. Pretty much any player that we've ever tried to sign for #United, we've offered them more cash, we've offered them performance incentives, we've offered them signing bonuses. Chesham has swooped in and tried to pick up. They are free agent merchants. So I'm keen to actually get out there today and with this new young team, beat the living piss out of them. Of course, a young squad, we're going to have to approach certain things differently, and one of them will be our team talks. Assertively, I'm just going to say, nobody expects us to get a result. Just calm down. I've got faith in you. You're going to do well. So we'll go through each list now. I have faith. Get out there and make the difference. And everyone's responded positively to that. Oh, God, they're playing on a long, narrow pitch, which I don't know why I said, oh, God. That actually kind of works into our narrow 4-4-2. But it's amazing the amount of lower division teams that either have square pitches or these weird rectangular Kit Kat looking things. Alright, we've got the first highlight of the season so far. Gibbons with a long ball forward. O'Neill with the flick on header. It's recovered well in midfield. Out to Nurse on the left-hand wing for Chesham. Just need to stand him up. O'Neill will come out and close down the fullback now. Krasniqi has the ball in the hole. Two men come out. Probably didn't need to do that. Got a 2v1 on the left-hand side if they can work it. Instead, they come back inside to Richards. Plays forward now to Paris, the overlapping fullback. Back to Richards again. They're just keeping the ball well. O'Neill's done well to win it high up the pitch. We do have a counter if we can release the ball now. Mears with the ball on the right-hand side. There are backstick runners and midfield runners coming. It's a crossfield switch now towards Rodriguez, who bursts into the box, gets his strike away, and he hits the crossbar with his first attempt of the season, and it actually ends up going out for a throw. But good. It's good to see that we have that danger on the counter-attack, and as soon as we recovered possession, everyone just came alive and started bursting forward. Alright, last highlight here. It looks at the half. We've very quickly got into half-time. Starting in a similar scenario where we've recovered possession and Keith Mears is launched forward. It's men bursting forward to meet him in the middle if he can hold the ball up or find the cut back here. It's a well-hung ball, but it's back to Sean O'Neill on his debut. Smacks that one back in. We're going to check it out in 3 dimensions. I'm pretty sure Thomas tried to head the ball away and O'Neill met the ball on the volley and beat the keeper at near post. But again, we're getting out early. We're releasing Keith Mears into the channels. The support is excellent from the players bursting forward here. Thomas heads it away, and then, it looks like Krasniqi was coming towards the ball, but O'Neill gets there first, finds his volley, and hits the back of the net. We go 1 goal to the good in Season 6. Right, that's half-time. We've had 5 shots, 2 on target, 53% of the ball. For such a young team, that is an excellent way to start the year away from home. I'm just going to keep it calm. I'm going to say I'm happy with your performance so far. Keep it up. We're doing okay, but we could be doing better. Second half kicks off now. It remains to be seen if this highlight will go anywhere. If it's just kick-off highlight, it's ended now. Highlight here, Mears to take a free kick from distance. He gets it on target. Hyam will be the... Hyam? No, he's offside. I'm going to butcher that pronunciation 100 times an episode. You're going to have to get used to that. Here we go. They've got a corner. Hickey to take. It's a deep one across, and Bray has gotten his first goal of the season. And his first goal for Chesham as well. Not ideal. We'll check it out in 3D. You can see the shape that we've used here. It looks like he just got in between 2 defenders, and neither of them really tracked the man or went to the ball. But disappointing, it's their first real highlight, and with 30 minutes remaining, we might have a look at making some subs of our own. Alright, so we're going to make 3 subs and really chase the game for the last 30 minutes. Charlie Jeffries, ex-Southampton Jr., is going to come on in midfield as the box-to-box role. Hyam will move to the deep line playmaker. Gilmore will come on the left wing. Gilmore looks a quality player, but just a little bit behind Rodriguez in technical ability. He is also kind of upset that we signed Rodriguez and wanting first-team football, so he'll get an opportunity to stake his claim for a first-team spot. And Bernard Brennan will come in as the deep line forward for Vasco Ferreira. Ferreira hasn't actually played with us that much in pre-season due to international call-ups, so he might need a couple more weeks to get up to speed and get match fitness and whatever else. I'm just going to assertively tell them, I have faith, get out there and make a difference. 2 players have responded positively. That's pretty good, and it looks like we've got a highlight going on in the background, but it's disappeared. So while those subs come on, we're also going to use our Get Creative shout. And most people seem pretty inspired by that, so hopefully we can turn that into chances and highlights in the last 30 minutes. Right, they've got a free kick here. Hickey to take from deep, and thankfully it's not on target because it looked like Gibbons was scrambling across to his near post there. And they've just come back into it in the second half, have Chesham, after doing not really a whole lot in the first half, but neither did we, to be fair. Alright, getting towards the last 10 minutes now, so we're going to use our demand more shout and see if we can inspire anyone to actually make the difference in the last 10 minutes. A few people are focused after that. We're getting into extra time, so I'm going to use the Get Creative shout. Most players have been inspired by that. We just need to get some sort of highlight here in the second half because it's pretty much just kind of drearily moving towards the full-time whistle. Alright, last 10 seconds remaining, and dare I say it, this is just going to be the final whistle highlight. Overton recovers the ball, Richards plays it forward to Dowling, and the referee calls full time. So a 1-1 draw in our first game of the season. We did shade most of the stat line, 10 shots, 4 on target, and 59% of the ball. They've had 7 shots, 1 on target, and 41% possession. Disappointing to concede a goal from a free kick, particularly because I just finished telling you guys that I had sorted all of our free kick routines, defensive and attacking. I'm just going to say you were unlucky today, and they were unlucky today. I felt like we were the better side based on the balance of play. Alright, and there you see Chesham hold out for draw. We did well to go in a goal up at half time, but they pegged us back from that set piece, which was very frustrating. Oliver Hyam made his debut and got the man of the match performance. A fair few debuts there for a bunch of different players as well. We've had a few offers for the players that we have on transfer, but magic of editing, we jump ahead to the next game, which is against Dartford in 3 days. Alright, just like that, we are 3 days ahead for the game against Dartford at home. First home game of the season down at the Hive. Couple of small changes. Gilmore will come in on the left wing. He is desperate for a start. And Valeriano Rodriguez has actually struggled for fitness a little bit, so we're going to push him to the bench just to keep that rotation going. We're also going to bring in Charlie Jeffries, ex-Southampton Junior, to play that box-to-box role. It'll mean Hyam will move to the deep line defend role. So just 2 changes, just to freshen up the midfield. Interestingly, Dartford won their first game 4-1, so they're currently top of the division. They're managed by Darius Vassell, and they've got a couple of players that are familiar for me from old series. Sam Minihan is a very good wing-back option at this level, as is Kenneth Yeo at centre-back. Jordan Garrick up top, ex-Swansea Junior. We've previously looked at bringing him in and just weren't able to. So they've got some decent quality in the side, but I think we should still, at home, be able to get something against them. There's no one in the division that really looks like they're miles ahead of any of the other teams, because I've flicked through all of their squads and looked at the values and looked at what players they've got on what contracts. There's a couple of teams, I think it's Sutton and Bromley, dropped down from the Vanarama National. They look okay, but otherwise, there's no one that I'm as scared of this season as I was of having Waterlooville last year. They were phenomenal. First highlight of the game, 35 minutes in, it's Parkhill with a throw-in back to Overton. We're very deep in our own half here, but at least they're playing a high defensive line. We can get in behind if we release the ball quick enough. Jeffries now to Parkhill. It's a long ball forward. Ferreira's gotten behind his man. Can he find the finish? Oh, it's a good strike. Just over the crossbar on the near post side. Highlight now, Yao's going to start with the ball for Dartford at the back. They haven't had a highlight yet to speak of, but we've really only had the one. Coming forward now with Minihan. Deep cross towards Turnbull, hacked away. Yao now with the ball. Plays back inside to Minivan. We're good pressing up the park here, but we need to recover possession. We have now. Jeffries now with the ball. Crossfield switch towards Mir, who's gotten in behind. Can he square it up? Instead, he finds the finish himself. First goal of the season for the man that I thought was going to be critical to our season so far, and he's proved it the second game of the season. Debut goal for him, or not debut goal, because last game was his debut. His first goal for the club. That's what I'm trying to say. Great ball over the top there. Mir, great touch. Smacks it low and hard across the keeper. He could have squared it up to Ferreira, who made a tremendous supporting run. And we go a goal to the good, pretty much just like last time, before half-time. So we'll see if we can see out the result this time. Alright, we're going to half-time. 8 shots, 4 on target, 51% of the ball. They've had 7, 4 and 49. So a very tight contest thus far from a team that absolutely tore apart their opponents in the first game. I've already forgotten who they played. And I'm just going to calmly tell everyone I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. There's no need to do anything other than try and boost morale at this point of the season. Best performers though so thus far, Keith Murr 8.2, or Mir I should say 8.2, and Charlie Jeffries on his debut a 7.2 match rating. Oliver Hyam we've got to keep an eye on. He's got a yellow card. It's his second in 2 games. He might be a bit of a yellow card merchant at this level. Highlight now, Henry with the long ball forward. Should get tidied up easily by Parkhill. Instead it's flicked on by Garrett, but Overton will tidy up. Turnbull now with a poor touch. Garrick at the top of the box. Thankfully his strike on his left peg was pretty much straight at the keeper and straight over the crossbar, but there is that danger of playing ball-playing defenders. They are always going to try and take a touch, even perhaps sometimes when they need to launch it. Alright, we're going to make 3 subs. George Uri is going to come on for Oliver Hyam just because of that yellow card. We're going to bring on George William for Paul Turnbull, who struggled again, and we saw cough up the ball a little bit earlier. And Rodriguez will come on for Nick Gilmore, who hasn't really made the most of his opportunity to go for that starting left wing position that he so desperately wants. Alright, now those subs are on, and 60 minutes mark, we're also going to use Get Creative. I'd much rather go after it in this game than try and defend a lead with a young team. I'd rather try and get that second goal, get ourselves that buffer, and then if they pull something back later on, we're not as much under pressure. Most players have responded well. There's a couple that are pressured by that feedback, but I guess that's to be expected with a young team. They've got a free kick here. Coleman from distance, and Gibbons does well to get to it. Isa now. Williams with a good tackle. I was concerned that was going to be a penalty there for a second. That would have been devastating. But they've come back into it. They've had their first highlight of the second half. Sean O'Neill's now picked up a yellow card, so there's always that worry that we might go down to 10 men at any point. Throw in now, Austin to Yuri. Crossfield switch to Jeffries. He can play it across to Parkhill now, who's got space to burst into if he can get forward. Played to Rodriguez. It's hacked away, but Overton should tidy up without any drama. Back forward to Parkhill again. He's got men inside and Yuri. Ball over the top towards Ferreira. Can he get there? Great first time strike. He's offside, unfortunately. But it was a well-weighted pass over the top from Yuri, and a good finish, to be fair, but it doesn't count. Free kick now. Williams from the top of the box. He gets it on target, but Henry does very well and gets out quickly to pick up the rebound. Getting towards the last 10 minutes, so we're going to use the man now more. They've immediately got a highlight. Ross with a very, very deep corner. Comes out to Minivan. Or Minihan, sorry. Minivan is his nickname in the old Dr. Benji Boston United series. And Coleman with the strike from the top of the box. Puts that one just wide into the side netting. It's a shame that sometimes you'll be on top of a game, you'll have the better match ratings, the better stat lines, whatever else, and as soon as you use a shout, it immediately results in a highlight. Just one of those real frustrations. And it's not like anyone responded poorly, only George Williams is pressured by it, everyone else is fine. O'Neill and Yuri now also on yellow cards. They've changed their shape and brought on subs to go to kind of a 4-3-1-2. Williams now at the free kick. It's a deep one across. O'Neill at the top of the box. Can he get the strike away? It's not a bad effort. It's just past the near post. Keeper was scrambling. Throw in now. Austin at the right wing. Played to Mir. Back to Austin again. Played to Yuri. He's got a man at the top of the box. Instead he goes back to Austin. Inside to Mir. Inside to O'Neill. It's hacked away. They've left two up top here. We're in a 3v1 situation. Williams with a very important tackle. Played forward now to O'Neill. We've got men forward. Can we get a second goal here to seal this win? Austin to Yuri. Austin, get the ball in, please. Crossfield switch instead to Parkhill. There was a lot on then. Forward to Rodriguez. Back inside to Vieira. To Mir, second goal of the season, second goal of the game for the big man up front. I told you to remember the name at the start, and he might be the difference maker for us this season. Not since we had Tashan Richmond scoring 38 goals 2 divisions ago did we actually have a real strike force up top. And it's a good play here. Just Vieira reads the game well, squares it up, and Mir with the first time finish from the top of the box. Oh, we needed that second goal. Pretty much every highlight that started out, I've been panicking thinking we're going to give away possession in a bad area. Don't forget that great tackle from George Williams as well when he was pretty much 1v3 to recover possession and kick that attack off. Alright, we're into the last minute of extra time. I would take a 2-0 if you offered it to me. Did feel like we were the better side in the first game against Chesham, but you really can't take anything for granted. It's a deep ball from Minihan at back post, a great tackle from O'Neill. We've got time to come forward, no, but the referee calls full time. A good 2-0 win to get us back on track. I'm just going to calmly say, a good win, boys, well done. Let's set the standard that we expect to win our games at home. Right, and just like that, we move up into 5th spot with that win. Still very early in the season. Quality finishing the main difference at the Hive, which makes sense. 12 shots apiece for each side. We had 51% of the ball. Keith Mir, of course, with his double, gets a man of the match rating with an 8.8. Williams makes his professional debut, signed from West Ham. We didn't really talk about him at the start. He's very versatile, that young defender. Can play on the right, can play in midfield as well. We're definitely going to need that from him this season. And Mir on form for #United. Let's praise his performance. Just say he was superb in front of goal last time. Keep it up. And he's responded positively, which is great to see. Right, now what we do need to look at is because we're now in our 2nd season in the Valeriano National and because we're now within 2 months before FM20 comes out, I really want to get as high up the divisional structure as possible before that happens, is changing the way we structure our episodes. So previously what we did was we picked out 2 games every month in calendar, in game, that we were going to go and make the focus of each episode. But what I think we're going to try and do is speed it up just a little bit and maybe do like every 10th episode, every 10th game is a new episode. So we've just done the 1st and 2nd game of the seasons. There's 42 games in a season, so we should do the 11th and 12th as the next episode, which is roughly around here, Chippenham and whoever else, or Sutton and Gloucester, depending on how the season plays out. Do our 21st and 22nd, 31st and 32nd, and then hopefully to finish the season, our 41st, 42nd games to finish as champions. No, I'm kidding, to see where we're finishing, and that will hopefully speed it up a little bit. So it's about half the episodes you would have seen in a regular season, not including the fast forward episode that we did last time out. but I think it's a good way for us to try and pick up the pace and try and pick up some time between now and FM20 coming out. We're probably not going to get all the way to the Premier League or Champions League or anything like that, but at least if we're accelerating it, we can get as high up as humanly possible before the series actually finishes. As always, those guys, thank you so much for watching. That's what I appreciate the most. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on future videos as they come out. If you've enjoyed this one, or if you think I'm an idiot, chuck it in the comment section below. Throw a like on the video if you support us using these regen players. But as always, most importantly, don't ever forget to hashtag it.